screen now? Does it work? Is
Shout
there
out
sound?
Brendan.
Is there sound? I think there's sound. I think
Okay,
the sound works.
audio. All right, so if you can hear us, we are live from our homes and the studio. Sound, yes. Okay, so everyone, let's just start again. Yeah, F for audio. Right. Okay, so welcome to IOI Monthly episode 13, the version with and without audio. From now on, we will have audio for the rest of the stream. My name is Travis. I'm the community manager here at the studio, working on Hitman. I'm joined today by Clemens, our community developer. Clemens is also making sure that the stream goes ahead. So technical difficulties aside, Clemens has done an awesome job getting us to this point. We are also joined by Lasse, who is a level designer at the studio as well. You can probably tell from his background which level he worked on most recently. And we are here for approximately the next 30 minutes to talk you through what's going on in Hitman, Hitman 2, especially what's coming up next week and next month for the May content calendar. We have also time set aside for questions. Of course, we have Lasse with us, so if there are level design specific questions, Woodleton Creek specific questions, then drop them into chat. Formanovo, as you can see, is Lasse saying hello. So drop questions there, and just to set all the expectations, we are focusing today's stream once again on Hitman 2. Cool. So Clemens, you are the man who's going to pull up some cool assets that we've got to talk about. But I think before we start into what's going on in Hitman 2, I think we should, first of all, give a huge shout out to everyone at IOI, especially those who have put in lots of awesome work to be able to get us all functioning as well as possible from home. The overwhelming majority of people in both our Malmö and Copenhagen studios are working from home. And that means remote desktop, that means a lot of meetings going on, similar to the one that we're having now, where maybe there are some audio issues.
There's always audio issues.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it means just being in an office most of the day. I have a little space at home. I think most people have that. Clemens, Lasse, how is it for you? Clemens, if you go first, just sort of a few words to how it is working from home.
It's okay. It takes some. It's a little weird because you're constantly home, but I mean, why being online all the time? I think it was an easy adjustment, at least for me, to work from home. I mean, I miss the IO canteen, but again, I think I lost some fat, so it's good. But yeah, overall, it's actually been a very smooth transition.
Yeah.
Overall, for me at least. So.
Yeah. I think especially for us, Clemens, it's relatively more simple because a lot of our work is done using not specific tools, and we don't need lots of specific software or hardware. I think that's maybe less for you. It's been a little bit different having to work from home, working on level design.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a tough transition in the start, mostly because I think we tried to see if a solution with remoting desktop in would work. But I think we quickly raised that maybe our velocity wasn't that high when we didn't sit on our work computers. So I think it's actually a huge shout out to IO management and everyone in HR and IT helping us out to getting all our equipment back home. Yeah. So I actually think our velocity is pretty much like when we're at the office now, which is super awesome. Like It's a very small transition. I think it's just more getting to see each other through webcams rather than in the office now, but the actual work is very similar.
Yeah. I think there's one thing that I really miss is that where our department, Clemens and I, where we're sat in the studio means that quite frequently people are walking past. So you get to see a whole lot of people that are not really in your direct department. But now that obviously doesn't happen. And it feels super strange to sort of just phone somebody randomly like, hello, what's going on? It's a bit strange. So I think that's sort of things that are missing. But I think you're right, Lasse, that the hard work was done by HR, IT, and support channels at IO to make sure that people can sort of keep going, keep working, that we keep focused, we have a plan, and stay healthy. Of course, that's sort of the new
And the entire process went very smoothly, right? I mean, it was very almost overnight. It just mobilized a huge army of setting up computers and helping up with stuff, and it went so smooth. It was very cool to experience as well, even though under the circumstances, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. I mean, I'm sure this might come up in some questions, and we are sort of here for best part of half an hour to answer those as we come through. But there are at least two things we specifically want to get to, and then we'll talk about questions as well. Clemens, does it matter which order things go in, or can we just go with? Cool. Yeah. Then I think the first thing we should shout out is what's on social this morning, Clemens. That on PlayStation 4 right now, we are running a limited time free trial over the weekend, starting today, running through the weekend, where you can download and play the entirety of Hitman 1, the complete first season. You can play it for a limited time, and then we also have some deep sales going on across the board for Hitman games. Hitman 1, Hitman 2. I think Clemens, looking at you.
That's correct on PlayStation.
Yeah, specifically for PlayStation. So we've done free trials before on other platforms. We also have it right now on PlayStation 4. So if you're a PlayStation 4 player, check out the store, see what there is for you. The discounts and everything will vary depending on what country you're in and all that sort of stuff. So that's going on. We also have, of course, we are still putting out our live content. So we're still releasing featured contracts, have been out for April, and we have an elusive target that's running right now. Is that right, Clemens? Until Monday?
That's right. Until Monday. The serial killer.
So that's the serial killer.
Yes.
Who's
haunting the streets of
Whittleton Creek, Lester.
Oh.
Outgrading, the students.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. Yeah, that's what's happening right now. But we also are here, of course, to try and do in the streams to let you know what's coming up next month. We've been doing content calendars in lieu of roadmaps. Whoa, my camera is shaking. I'm trying to plug in my power adapter so the stream doesn't, at least I don't disappear.
It disappears.
So we have the May content calendar. I've actually got our video ahead of what the stream actually looks like. It's actually looking pretty cool. But Clemens, you have the power to put things above us, in front of us, and reveal to the world the content calendar in May. Anytime you're ready to press the button.
Are you ready? It's like I have to manually shove it in.
I think this is a new format for IOI Monthly. I don't think you can go back to a studio. Like, this is
totally the way to do it.
Bodiless.
Ready? Whoa! There we go.
Just see the mouse moving around, and you need to right-click, bring to front. There we go. So I think I'm watching the stream that might be delayed. So let's talk it through. Clemens, actually, maybe you want to go through this, the May content calendar for Hitman 2?
Yeah. We start up May with feature contracts. And it's spring, so we came up with I think it's a hilarious subject. The theme is spring cleaning, and in Hitman he is sort of a cleaner. So there's many ways to interpret this theme. As always, they're very open to interpretation, so you can do almost whatever you want with it. But cleaning has to do some sort of element in your mission. They're coming up May 7. I'm looking very forward to it. Already now, I can see on Hitman Forum, you can go in and you can submit your contracts. I already now see some very funny ones. So that's it's going to be a great one, I think. Very open-ended, but also some very, actually more than you think, that a lot of them are around cleaning, like literally cleaning.
Literally cleaning? How is it literally cleaning?
Like cleaning, like, vacuum cleaning and the dusting and like cleaning.
All right. And
then there are obviously, of course, also the cleaning where you like clean.
Are you trying to encourage people at home to keep their homes clean as well, or?
That's the benefit of this. You see it and you're like, you know what? I spring cleaning. That's the thing. I should do it. Maybe.
Yeah.
So it's perfect timing. You can clean. You can create a contract. You can play Hitman. I mean, it's a win-win.
Exactly.
Cool. There's a question in chat, Clemens, about the deadline. So when and how can people submit their contracts to be featured?
So you go to hitmanforum.com, and then there's a thread there where you can submit your contracts. It's one of the top threads, one of the more active ones right now. And the deadline is Tuesday, 2 p.m. next week.
There you go. Tuesday, 2 p.m. next week.
And then get your entries in before then, and then I will start going through them Tuesday afternoon and find the lucky 10.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And then we have the stowaway on May 15th. A loser target. We activate a loser target on Isle of Scale.
Nice.
You remember what's tricky with this one, Travis?
This is the one who you can't get too close to, isn't that the one?
Exactly. That's the one you get.
Unique behavior if you get too close to him, and
yes, he can get spooked. So he knows that you're coming or something's coming. He's very, very, very easily scared. So look after this one. It's quite funny. It's very good.
I always like it when we have like unique behaviors or things that targets do that are different to other targets, and I think this is one of those examples.
Yeah. Exactly, and it's not really, you don't really realize it for the briefing. So when you go in and you find out he's very jittery, and you easily spot that something's off with this guy. It's really cool.
Don't spoil it now, Clemens. Seriously.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The good thing is you don't need to move that far to disappear.
I'm shutting up. So that's coming, and then we have one of the old OGs from the Hitman community, Urban. Finally, he's coming in and he's doing the curated contracts for May.
Awesome. So if people don't know who Urban is, Clemens, how would you describe Urban and what he does in the community?
You remember Crazy Machines? You remember that?
Crazy Missions?
Crazy Machines. You remember that there's a video game called Crazy Machines where you build all these trinkets and like one effect causes another effect and like it spirals down like a domino effect.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how Urban makes missions sometimes. So you blow up a gas canister and you kill a target on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
From what I recall, he was pretty good on the sniper assassin stuff as well.
He's also very good at sniper.
Right?
I think he's a mastermind.
That's also Urban, who is in Haven Island as an NPC, right?
He is.
That's what you mean. The guy is so good at the game, we had to put him in the game so that then you could kill him in the game.
So once you've played all his curated contracts, you can actually go in game and thank him for how good they were.
I would expect him to have some sort of really convoluted way of killing himself. That would be a very Urban contract to make.
You just upgraded our meeting, Clemens. Thanks, man.
No worries.
I didn't even pay.
No. It was a gift.
Thanks.
It's a gift.
No worries.
All right.
So yeah, that's and then we have a live stream at the end of May. Again, maybe the same kind of setup with no audio issues. Guaranteed.
Yep. It might well be a work from home edition. It might well not be. We might just do it from separate meeting rooms anyway to have the same vibe. If Lester is so happy with it, we can do that.
I don't know what's gonna happen. It's a month ahead. It's gonna be, but we're gonna be there and with zero sound issues. I can guarantee that. Now I know how it works.
All right. So I can see there's a question coming in from on Twitch. Can't quite see the name, about what are curated contracts. So if you're very new to Hitman or you don't know what curated contracts and featured contracts are, there's a pretty clear difference between them. Featured contracts is where the community create contracts and Clemens goes in to find all the submissions and he picks out the ones that are the most interesting, that have the most interesting briefing, that play the best, that offer a lot of variety to players, and then we feature them in the game. They get featured for everybody on all platforms. Then we have curated contracts where we pick out one individual member from the community. In this case, it would be Urban. And he has created contracts of his own or chosen contracts from others that he thinks are the best. So rather than us choosing the best 10, then we have a curator or someone who chooses those contracts to have the best 10. Yes, and there we go. Clemens can lean back now after correcting our minor visual.
Yes.
It's so interesting watching the stream and then watching our chat and see the different reactions.
Oh my god! I tell you, it's chaos, but it's all right.
So there was I just gave a very long answer to what curated contracts are, and there was another answer from Urban himself, who said that curated contracts are the ones that bypass quality check of IO, which is somewhat true, but ultimately not, because we do check them and we do make sure that they are fit for purpose, but we leave the creativity of the contract down to the individual. So obviously if there's something that we really don't think fits the game at all or is offensive in any way or potentially, then we reserve the right to kick that contract away.
I can see
not entirely.
Someone is wanting more info on the guy laying in the water behind the wall in the last Yardbird, please. And actually, there was a huge long backstory to him. You know, he almost ended up being a target down there. You know, it's the guy on the crocodile tanning up in the Austrian mountains.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, we just felt like that maybe he didn't fit into the wedding setting, so he got a little, side role down in the water down there, just chilling.
Let's jump into questions, though. I think that's the perfect. Oh, Les, I think you're muted.
That's
No,
good.
I don't think so.
Okay, you cut off for me.
I'm back.
I can hear him.
Cool. Then maybe
loud and clear.
My ears are broken.
Yeah, that's okay. I hear it gets fixed in a patch update.
In a few months. Right, let's talk questions. Let's talk questions. I actually have some questions that came in from the forum and from Reddit. I have just a few, and then we'll start to look to questions that are coming through Twitch chat for about the next 5 minutes or so, let's say. So Lessa, this one is actually mostly for you, and I've seen it asked quite a bit. It's from Tetrafish on Hitman Forum, who's talking about the solar panels in Whittleton Creek and why they are on the sides of the roof that is away from the sun. Do you have an answer?
Well, there's a canon story that the sun actually moves when you're not killing people in Hitman. So, when you're not in there killing, that's when the solar panels get lots of sun.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, that's the simplest answer we've had on the stream.
But I will say, when I went in, I actually had to go in and check because I was like, "Oh no, did we put the solar panels somewhere completely idiotic?" But it looks okay.
Okay, so not a bug, will not fix.
No, I wanted to go in and check. So this is not a question that was asked, but I remember in Whittleton Creek, there's the house undergoing fumigation. Mm-hmm. And I got into some trouble by having this big fume cloud going up the house that you can't get into because it's undergoing fumigation because of performance. And I was like, they ended up cutting it. But now I was in the scene and it's still there. It looks super nice. Mm-hmm. But I think you in it's a very flat level, so you don't often look up that high.
Mm-hmm.
But next time you're in Whittleton Creek, try to look up through the chimney of the house undergoing fumigation. Looks nice.
I can hear disk drives spinning up now to start loading. Like, what is this he's talking about? What is this? Okay, so I have other question. One of them was actually about about working from home. I think we've sort of talked about that. In many ways, it is essentially business as usual, only mostly online. That's a fair assessment of it, on the whole, at least. There is another question about, okay, so 2 questions. One is about the Sarajevo 6 missions that were in Hitman 1 on PS4, about whether they will be made available anywhere else. The answer to that, as it has been for a while, is still no. There is no plans for them to move away from being exclusive to Hitman 1 on PS4. That's just how that is. And then there is a question about other ways to unlock certain suits if you missed certain elusives. And I think we also made that relatively clear not long ago that for Hitman 2, we've done a recycle of all of the elusive targets or a reactivation. and the legacy elusive targets, they will not be reactivated in Hitman 2. Those are those answers. So I have more questions. Clemens, this one is for you. Is there going to be any more behind-the-scenes interviews with Clemens? I really like those.
Thank you. Yes,
and it wasn't me that asked the question. This was
no, I'm just saying. Thank you. Yep, there will be more. There are more in the making. So stay tuned. Definitely going to be a lot more.
I know you've already done some filming for some future ones that are coming up.
Yep.
At some point, we're not going to time frame them, but there are some good plans. Good filming has been done.
Good filming has been done, and more is planned. So when we can get closer to each other, more stuff will happen. Yeah. Definitely. So I'm glad that you like it.
We also at the point where people are approaching you asking for, hey, what about my department? When can my department have a behind the scenes with Clemens video?
Yes, and they will.
You're in demand, Clemens.
My mission is that every department will have at least one movie.
Okay. Big words, Clemens.
Big words.
It's pretty cool that you're making these. Like, I think it's super nice highlighting all the different disciplines that contribute to making the games, especially some of the non-level design ones that don't keep popping up here on the stream. You know, I think it's nice to shine the spotlight on them because they do awesome stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why. That's also the general idea was to learn everyone, all the departments, what they're doing. So it's a story that's keep on growing. So it's really cool, and I'm very looking forward to make more of them because I love making them. So.
Yep, it's cool. I can see chat is talking about Clemens, you being in Hitman 1 as an NPC.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Can you tell the story about how you managed that?
That was because I was actually for Hitman 1, I was invited in to create contracts for the game. So there was actually some contracts featured on launch. And then me and a bunch of other people, we were invited in to the IOI headquarters. And one entire day, we were just creating contracts. And we made a lot. And a lot of them were really trash because we were just pushing them out. But there were some really good ones in there because you also, it's the first time a lot of us actually played the close to final product. So there was a lot of things we didn't know was possible. And we remember they were all in Paris and like, oh my God, there's a vampire suit here. And like, there was all these Easter eggs. So we just played the level like the entire day. It was amazing. And as a gift, as a token of gratitude, we were added to the game as NPCs, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you can find me. You can find me in Marrakesh, where I'm in the house built. The nighttime one. What's it called? I can't remember.
Yeah, house built on sand. You're right.
Yeah, house built on. Yeah. I'm fixing a moped.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Are you near the school or where are you?
Yeah. I'm near the school in this little corner, standing there and fixing the moped and people. And it was actually a fun fact because I never managed to find myself because I just remembered it was part of. I was invited. I know I was part of it, but let's be honest, there's a lot of NPCs. So I looked, couldn't find it, but actually Urban found me. So it was like, did you know you're in the game? Like, finally, you found me. I've been looking for years. Oh, I've been looking for some time. Because I could always just ask, but it's also just funny to find yourself. I mean, it's like the ultimate version of Where's Waldo.
I really like putting a lot of my friends into the levels I work on, but with a twist on their name to try to match the sound of how your name would sound in that area of the world that the level takes place in.
That's brilliant.
So a lot of my friends have like Swedified versions of themselves in the embassy in Marrakesh.
Do they know?
Yeah, they know. They like it. They like that they can go in and shoot themselves. So it's fun.
That's also something that's pretty cool to do.
It's also fun because, I mean, when we make levels, we often have to come up with levels for, up to 300 people. So it's nice to be able to have a little bit of fun with it rather than just using random generators, right?
Yeah. I think that must make a big difference, right? If 300, so you get like a list of 300 names that are just like name one, and you have to turn it into an actual name. Is that how it works?
No, I mean we have a program that can generate names within a certain part of the world.
Yeah.
But I would say it's a mix between you also wanting to have a certain type of name, right? Because often a program can't make it as good as if you curate it, right?
Yeah, sure.
So it's a nice little fun thing. I mean, I think it gives personality, especially in contract creation. Like you had this little nice request in Wilton Creek where we ended up putting a fan in the level as well, and like kind of giving them a home and stuff. I think that was super cool.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool. I still remember asking, it's maybe a story for a different day, but randomly asking people on Twitter what their favorite cheese was. That was part of the mission, because you only had certain room to fit them in, and the surname was decided as Brie. And I was like, how do I tell this person that, like, without spoiling it, that this name is them? So I was like, fuck it, cheese. I hope they like cheese. Very weird.
But it's also because, trying to get permissions from people to put their exact name in, it could give some legal issues. So it's better that we just be a little playful with it and try to do a variation of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Like we were running out because I think her first name was quite long, and we had to fit her name on the mailbox.
Yeah. It was
game development, right?
It's the things that we come with. All right. In terms of the things we wanted to get to on today's stream, we wanted to touch base with our community again, let you know a little bit more about what's going on, both at IOI but also within Hitman 2. We wanted to stick to the rhythm as much as possible. We couldn't make it happen last month, but we sort of were determined this time. Also, shout out to Martin, who's been helping us behind the scenes as part of the stream team as well. Get everything set up and ready. Also planning for. Yeah, there's a lot of questions right now, but what do we do with the next stream? How do we make that as good as possible? And the one after that, how to make that work in terms of, are we on Zoom like we are now, or are we back in the studio again? How does it all come together? So, thank you to everyone who's helped with that. Also, Lessa, thanks to you for taking time out of your day to jump on stream and talk, share some stories, share some insights, and just sort of say hey to our players. I think it's cool that we have many people on the dev team, not just yourself, who are keen to get involved more and more sort of in a more casual way, let's say. We're not revealing something today. We're not asking you lots and lots of questions about how you did certain thing or why you haven't fixed a bug or something. It's a lot more.
You can ask me about that. I think there's not that many bugs left, hopefully. No, there's actually one more question I see it here. Any Easter eggs not found in Whittleton Creek? And actually, there's also a story behind that. I'm telling a lot of stories. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we never had this planned stream, so we were actually talking about having me on and we could play through Whittleton Creek, but it never happened.
Yeah.
And I think it's also because I went on vacation right after we were done with making launch, not the live tail of Hitman 2. And I went straight to New Zealand for a long time. And, I was really hyped about all the reactions we were going to get on Hitman 2. So I was addicted to hitmanforum.com, right? And apparently they had this sort of achievement system in there. And I got an achievement for having been on every single day for over a year or something like that. And I've read every single comment that people wrote about Wilson Creek. And I'm pretty sure that they've found everything.
Okay.
From what I've read. So it's quite impressive.
It was a very exciting story that didn't go where I thought it was going to go.
I was waiting, but there's still one they haven't found.
No. Yeah, right.
That's too good.
Like, oh my god, what is it? And they found everything.
That's too good. I love our players. They always they kind of blow our minds with how good they are. We both will come up with completely new things, but also finding all the goodies we've hidden for them. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's Easter amazes every time. It's like, this is gonna take some time before they catch this. Like, haha. And then 2 days after, oh well, god damn it. But it's amazing. I mean, I love it. Like having forensics playing your game constantly.
Yes.
I would love one time to actually be able to go through the documented list of Easter eggs that we have and actually try and find if people have found them. I'm sure I've looked at them and some of them are really convoluted, and I'm sure I can't imagine the circumstances where you would do the series of events that's needed, especially some of the ones in Colombia are like, I think there's probably some there. I don't know though, so don't start going crazy looking. I don't know what.
It's always an interesting balance to strike to try to implement fun stuff between us and the players in the form of Easter eggs, right? Because I think it's nice when it's also not too convoluted, but now it's also turned into like a mini game for players, right? Like since players have played our games so much now, they're experts in how the game works and what is kind of possible, right? So you're kind of fighting against this tsunami just coming towards you, finding all your Easter eggs. It doesn't feel fair, you know.
Is it sort of like is it a good feeling when people find them, or is it a good feeling when people don't find them? It sort of feels like it's a win-win in a way.
I think it's awesome. It reminds me, I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft, and it kind of reminds me because there's this friendly competition in the community about getting world first, right? You know, there's some bragging rights of finding some of the really elaborate Easter eggs first. The one thing was that some players were a little bit like, just help us, tell us, give us more hints. But I think it's cooler when you guys figure it out yourself.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's cool that people are still asking, as if like, is there one little thing left? Is there something still to chase? I think at some point we'll have to try and find out. We'll have to sort of maybe if the community knows of like a really good curated list of these are all the Easter eggs that have been found. I know we have the things you just found in Hitman thread that's really good for those sorts of things, but yes. I mean it's full of so many things that to read that would just take forever. If there is a really good list, we can sort of tick them off and then maybe come up with ways of saying, so have you found I'm going to make something up, the penguin in Witterton Creek, and then see if anyone knows what the hell that is. And then people go on a penguin hunt. There's no penguin. I'm just using a bad example. You know what I mean? Try and actually find out. We should know.
You're saying there's no penguin, but are you sure, Travis?
Well, I don't know.
Is there a penguin?
I think there's a comment here about the Easter eggs being redacted challenges, and I think that's a discussion that's also had about how that fits, right? I don't think those are strictly. I mean, you tell me, Lessa, when you have a redacted challenge, are you considering that an Easter egg or not? Kind of.
I think
not
sometimes
really.
they end up. Yeah, I think sometimes they end up as challenges. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends a little bit. I think we go back and forth on it. I don't think we would ever put every single Easter egg as a challenge. But I think sometimes if it's just such an overload of additional things, it can be kind of nice to give people a little taste of it, right? You know, the players become like sharks. They're like, they got the first Easter egg. Now they can smell the rest, right? They gotta keep going, you know.
Yeah.
And I think there's just a lot of fun with the redacted ones. I remember Sissel, one of our game designers, did a great job on the sniper ones, where some of them were redacted, and she was like really sneaky about the kind of pictures she took that you could see, which was the only hint. And I think it was quite clever what she did in order to kind of give clues through the pictures.
Awesome. Cool. So we're going to do the classic IOI Monthly thing where we go back to when we said goodbye about 10 minutes ago, and then actually say goodbye. It's a trademark now. We have to do it every time.
Yeah, it's like goodbye. But
one more question. But no, we will now. We'll stop questions. We will again thank both you, Clemens, and you, Lasse, for joining us on the stream. And Clemens and I, at least the two of us, will be back on the 28th of May with another Hitman 2 live stream. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. We'll have the June content calendar to share. And ideally, we'll have another guest. We'll see who it is. Until then, I guess, Clemens, it's time for you to press the big red stop stream buttons.
And just pull the plug.
Yeah, that's the quickest way. But yeah, and also thank you for everyone who joined us, for asking questions on the forums and on Discord and on Reddit and on Twitch and on Mixer and everywhere else that you are. Have a great rest of the week and stay safe until we talk to you next time. Bye for now.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Au revoir.